What would you weigh more on, the technological capability or the commercial side of it?
Okay, that's a very good question, because I have always had that issues with that, really. Because I think it's the technical that me, as a planner, would, and if your technical competence is not in doubt, I'm sure by the end of the day, if you're very technically capable, your commercial will become viable even when you get on the ground. But if you give me a very beautiful picture of the commercial returns, and you are not technically capable, when I give you that job, I'm going to have problems right from day one. So, so you know, all this, that's why I say all these arguments are very interesting. They're very funny. Because, you know, okay, the press started saying, I think it was Absalom, and blah, 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 won these. They started mentioning Nigerians who are not even engineers. But they forget that there's an element of business in all this matter. It's business. And so what these people have cleverly done is, okay, go and find technically capable people in different parts of the world, associate with them, have their memorandum of understanding, and bid with them. And so when any evaluation was being done during the due process, they will look at the technical capabilities of those people, not the technical capabilities of the Nigerians' names you are mentioning.
Okay. In the bidding process,
Yes.
when BP tried to explain the process, they mentioned, or it was mentioned that the Southern Electricity actually scored more in the area of the technical bid, but they scored lower in the commercials.
Yes.
So why do you think they chose to go with the others?
You know, you see, we all try to follow so-called World Bank guidelines, and in which certain percentage of the marks are awarded to technical competence, and the certain marks are awarded for your commercial bid. So it's when you add the two together that you now arrive at the preferred bidder. So the World Bank guidelines that we all tend to follow does that. It gives certain percentage of the marks to technical bid. It gives certain percentage of the marks to financial bid.
Okay, let's listen again to what they actually said, because at the time it broke, while people watched the bid on national television, they had thought that, okay, just see how it played out. But then came this complaint, which we're all focusing on now. Let's take a look again.
On Tuesday, the 16th of October this year, 20 prospective investors submitted bids for controlling stakes in 10 power distribution companies, which are successor companies of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, the PHCN. Some of the bidders were Owando Consortium, Honeywell Energy Resources International Limited, Integrated Energy Distribution and Marketing Limited, as well as Vigil Holdings. The companies were pre-qualified on September the 18th to have their commercial bids opened for the 10 distribution companies slated for sale under the privatization program. According to the rules, the winners were not to be determined on the basis of the highest offers made for the assets, but on the highest aggregate technical, commercial, and collection loss reduction projections over the first 5 years of operations. At the end of the bidding exercise, Integrated Energy Distribution and Marketing Limited defeated its rivals and was declared the preferred bidder for 4 distribution companies. It won the bids for the Yola, Ibadan, Eko, and Ikeja distribution companies. Although the BPE considered the process transparent and fair, some state governors cried foul.
It's very clear that BP has corrupted the entire process. They can't justify their decision. And as you can see from other winners that have been declared, people who have had no experience whatsoever in power, they are the ones, you know, that they've just shared the country to. And we are determined that Vigo will not be welcome to our states.
The process so far is full of fraud. It is not acceptable. The states have to be involved with companies that are competent to do the job.
We are disappointed with the outcome. We do not think it has credibility. We do not think it has demonstrated the transparency that you expect from something that is this highly sensitive.
Though comments such as these and many others that trailed the outcome of the bid may have cast some doubt on the exercise, The BPE says it is forging ahead with the rest of the privatization drive and will get the very best deal for the power distribution companies. Esther Uduaghan, Channels Television News.
So there you have it. One word stock out shared, and so many other words. And well, listening to them, and eventually the last speech by the BPE saying they will forge ahead. Would it be a good strategy? You've been in government, you worked with them for a long time. Would it be a good strategy for BPE to say, well, we will forge ahead, while the governors have said, listen, we will not let video come in and operate in this area. And this, on the other hand, BP is saying, we will forge ahead. How do you see that working out?
You see, it is unfortunate that everybody's now playing on the pages of newspapers and on television. Because these are issues, honestly, that I think are very sensitive to this country, that I think it could be resolved. If these governors have real, genuine evidence, they should be able to put it together and present it to the Committee on Privatization. I think it's better that way. Don't forget that a lot of the people that are in these, the technical partners and some of their commercial partners might have been from abroad. They are investors. They are watching. At the moment they can see all this, what we are trying to do, all this confusion that you are bringing to it, they step out. Because there are other countries where they can invest their money. They don't have to come to Nigeria. So, you see, I think we are not being sensitive enough to some of these realities, these international and world realities. There are people, these people are investors, and they can take their money somewhere else. Though Nigeria is a very good country for them, that's why they are coming at all. But they could explore other options if Nigeria is becoming too impossible for them. So I honestly will plead with the governors. If they have sufficient evidence to justify the strong words they have been using, they should please. We still have a president. And the National Committee on Privatization is not about the president of this country. They could still, honestly, deal with the matter. And Mr. President can always intervene to hear both sides out.
But wouldn't it create a problem? Because
Well,
here we are, the chairman of the National Council on Privatization is saying, how do you change the rules of a game that has already been played? Yes. How is it going to look?
You see, from the response of the Committee on Privatization, it will look to me that the governance has suggested another criteria, which nobody has shown to us or talked to us about. Because when you look at the thing, the Committee on Privatization gave, I think, 4 criteria. They talk about the technical competence, they talk about the commercial returns, they talk about collection of loss and something like that, about four criteria for which they were going to judge the final winners. Okay? I don't know what the governors are now saying should be an additional criteria which NCP was replying to, that they can't change the rules in the middle of the game. Okay? So there must have been some form of discussion. But it's because that discussion didn't come at the end, everybody came out to the press. But I still believe they're all in government. The governors are in government. The NCP people are working for this same nation, and they should have a way of being able to resolve this, because we don't want to scare away investors. People are not looking at it from that perspective.